Hello YouTubers, this is the Nubifier. Today I had an opportunity to stand in for Twerk17 on the Redacted podcast, a weekly live interactive show about Star Citizen. I'm posting it up here just in case you missed it, and I hope you enjoy.
It is Wednesday, August 16th, 2017. Welcome to another episode of Redacted. Thank you, Nubifier and Board Gamer, for joining me once again this week.
My head's really high.
Yeah, we're all really. It's because you keep moving when you sit, so it's for when you inevitably slouch down, which is gonna happen.
What?
He's super chill.
So
What's your problem? What's your problem? Let's do that. Yeah, that's better.
there you
Maybe.
Yeah. Hello everyone, welcome back.
go. He's the Nubifier.
Hey, Noob. I saw pictures of you when you were younger, which is weird because
Baby noob.
in 2004 you didn't have any grey hair.
Dude, that was when I
It
got
was like
married.
an overnight thing.
No,
Yeah.
Not quite. No, I was super skinny then too.
Mm-hmm.
And-
No. You look lovely now.
Okay, well, I was in better physical condition. How's that? I was like
Yeah.
30 something. Anyways, but yeah, so not to get off on topic, but that picture, did you notice what my shirt said? It was
No.
at the gift opening of my wedding, and I was wearing a shirt that said I did it for the money.
Good job.
And I knew that my wife
Your
was my
wife is very
to be
happy.
because she accepted the shirt. Didn't even say anything. She was expecting something stupid.
She's a very lucky woman.
She's very...
Right.
No, yeah, Mrs. Nubifier's on fire.
Everybody's saying that
Star Citizen
Nubifier is
content.
too quiet, so I have put you guys to maximum loudness.
I can generate...
Maximum.
I don't care.
Well, let me
That's
generate
it.
more.
That's all you're doing. That's all I'm doing for audio.
I've
That's all you're
increased
getting.
my audio. Chat, is that better?
It's better, apparently. It's fine.
Apparently.
Look, I just
Nice.
think people need more adaptive ears, okay? Just get your ears more dynamic.
Or
Boom.
come over to my house, sit in the streaming room,
Yeah, in the streaming room.
Yeah.
At
and then you'll
Nubifiers.
hear clearly.
Yeah, it's every fucking week with audio this, audio that. Okay, so I want to preface this podcast with a little warning and heads up.
A warning.
Well,
Jeez.
it's not going to be a regular podcast. We don't have any
Oh, no.
schedule report dates. We don't have any ATV studio report, which is the meat and potatoes of our, like, that's really all we talk about for the podcast. We don't have any of that. So, I know I was talking about putting the show on hiatus for a little bit, but I hadn't had a chance to talk to anybody. So instead of doing that, I thought a better idea would be we can do a Q&A kind of thing. We can talk about some things leading up to Gamescom. Obviously, next week we're going to have stuff to talk about with Gamescom being right there and then announcing more stuff. And the week after we're going to have stuff. So it's not going to go on hiatus. I'm personally on hiatus. I know a lot of people are like, I read on Facebook you did this and somebody made a video about. It's like, listen, I'm just taking a break from playing Star Citizen because I've been playing the same thing for the last 7 months. And I'm bored of it. That's all. So I'm just waiting until 3.0. I'm not going anywhere. I haven't quit Star Citizen. I haven't fucking died or, I'm not crying. I'm not upset with the delays. The delays I'm perfectly okay with. I just, for my own self, I'm just taking a break from playing the game. That's all. Nothing
And
too crazy.
It's the same on my side too. If Misery Loves Company is not necessarily what I want to say, but I base my entire channel on no bullshit, and everything after no information is speculation and bullshit. So I've not necessarily been taking a break, but I've been
Whoa, Noob.
selectively choosing things to talk about, and I've been spending a lot of time offline, just enjoying high frames and getting cool, cinematics for when I finally do have something to talk about.
Yeah.
That
So-
implies that my channel has more than a small amount of bullshit in it, which is accurate. But you're not supposed to imply that.
People, but you preface it. You are very, very good at telling people in advance that this might be bullshit.
Thanks.
What more do you want? Perfect.
A better word may be
Thank you.
speculation, but
Speculative bullshit. Thank you.
Bullshit
I'll make
Gamer
sure I put
UK. That's your new
Bullshit
name.
gamer. Thanks. Well, I think it would be a good channel, to be honest.
It
I love
would,
your
yeah.
shit though, boy.
It would be just
Like-
fucking.
Yeah.
Just throw shit. Just throw shit until it sticks.
no.
Just everything and anything. Just go.
Or a good start.
Just go through every single different game mechanic.
The annoying thing is that we're waiting for Gamescom, and there's a content like.
Oh, the drought is real, brother. The drought is so real.
The drought is between patches, and that's annoying. But not having anything to talk about, really, because of the ATV not being there, the studio update not being there. The only thing we can talk about is the speculative dates of the burn down, which isn't something we really want to cover because it's covered in the news, it's covered on the website.
Even the burn down that we had,
and it's just we can speculate more about 3.0. We can speculate about Gamescom, but I totally agree with Saurus. That's fucking answer-loaded questions, mate.
Yeah, so I was going to say, even the burn down that we got in ATV didn't give us enough information to talk about during the podcast.
One thing that we could talk a little bit about is I'm hopeful.
You guys can hear me, right?
I can't hear Saurus.
You guys can hear me, apparently.
Can't hear Saurus.
All right, give me 1 second. The stream can.
Saurus, we can't hear you.
I am aware.
We can hear you in the... There you are. I can hear you now.
Perfect.
Weird.
Yes.
Yeah, it must have been my cable mic. Oh, maybe my button on the mod mic is being weird. Anyways,
so you're talking on the podcast.
Yeah, so I was talking, and then you guys just started talking over. No, it's all good. It's all good. No.
Yeah.
Basically, what I was saying is, even with the burn down report on ATV, that still didn't give us enough information to talk about anything. If anything, it was very little information in the burn down segment in ATV.
Shall we talk about a couple of the things that were kind of new in there?
Yeah, we can.
Is that all right?
We can, for sure.
So they 100% confirmed that rotating and orbiting planets would be in now.
For 3.0.
For 3.0.
Right.
Yes. Which is good, because that means we don't have faked
I thought it was in before already.
Yeah,
and that's how we were getting. I thought that was already in. To be honest,
there was no firm statement on it. It was sort of like probably, maybe. The other thing that they confirmed is definitely going to be in is ship breaching now. So not just ship locking. They're going to have the ability to breach into ships.
And every game mechanic needs a counter, which is good.
Yes,
you don't want to just lock time. I'll be right back with my saber. I'll open up your tin can. You don't want to be there. It should be fun.
Well, I think that's because they talked about boarding and stuff like that. Like, obviously, that's probably one of the things that excites you the most when it's done fully fleshed out.
Okay.
That it's going to be great for piracy. You're going to be able to board ships. You're going to be able to steal their cargo. You're going to be able to steal their ships, and their ships are persistent in your cargo bay.
Yeah, I genuinely think that the weight. We discussed this a little bit. The weight is necessary and going to be worth it. And it's just confusion. But anyways, the end result is when this finally does drop, I think it's going to be awesome. It's exactly what everyone's waiting for. So.
No, it's still going to be a buggy piece of shit at Evocati.
It's going to be a buggy piece of shit, but it's going to be a buggy piece of shit.
Even past Evocati, right?
Yeah.
I
mean, it is alpha for a reason. It's going to be buggy. I think we're all hoping, and the hope might be overly optimistic, that it's going to be the most polished patch they've ever done, and it's going to be good at live. Like, it's not going to.
I think most of their patches in general are very polished. I think it's when it comes to netcode, which isn't being addressed in this next patch, is not going to be. And so it's like, in terms of assets and stuff, of course it's going to be polished. In terms of balancing, well, that's something that needs to be tested, and you know for sure it's not going to be to do that. So
didn't they actually confirm that there's no FPS improvements expected and no player cap?
Yes.
Well, you say that, okay, and that's a maybe in the PEU. They have done some stuff that will improve performance if stuff is not entirely server locked. So if as long as it's not. But
it wasn't like you will be getting 10 more frames per second, or like that wasn't a goal.
No, right?
No. So I think a lot of the time the server goes. Well, because it's 30 tick, it will try and lock stuff at 30 a lot of the time. But they do have physics serialization now. They have better serialized variables. They've moved off some of the stuff to other cores on your CPU, so you will get better multi-core performance. There's a lot of improvements there that should improve performance. Yeah. But in the PU, you might still get terrible performance. We don't know yet. We don't know until it's in our hands. In fact, it probably will be 30 frames, between 30 and 60 frames. But
That's the one thing that's been stopping me from telling my friends. And this, I don't want chat to get salty. Please understand the context of what I'm saying. I have a lot of friends that I game with. I've gamed with them since 2004.
Good job.
I haven't been jamming Star Citizen down their throat, right? It's my choice to want to play, and they're aware of the project and they know all about it. But I haven't asked them to start to play yet because I don't feel that the amount of content is really there to keep them engaged, and I would rather them see it for themselves. Most of them have ships. Most of them have never played it. How's that?
I have a similar thing with you, Noob, with that. Like, my friends are gaming snobs. They need 100%. They need competitive games. They need it perfectly balanced and no bugs. So they get really angry at PUBG. They love PUBG, but they get angry at it when bugs happen and when slowdowns happen. They even get angry at Counter-Strike when something happens. They're like, oh! But those games have to be competitive. They hate meta change in Overwatch and stuff like that. And those games, they're really polished and balanced. I mean, there's a lot of stuff they do wrong still, but they're on it. Bam,
well,
bam, bam.
one thing
if I showed them Star Marine.
One thing that's a constant and will be with Star Citizen as well. If they don't like meta changes, GG.
Yeah.
Those are it happens to every game. It still happens to WoW now. You know, it still happens to Ultima Online. It still happens to name a game, RuneScape, whatever. All of those games always have constant iterations, or always changing for balancing and stuff. And it's never perfect. It's depending on what the meta is and how to balance all of that stuff out. And so,
I like meta changes as long as they balance them quickly. So you've got your meta change, and then you go, well, and Star Citizen is going to be odd because the persistent universe doesn't necessarily allow for one-on-one combats for balance. It's not like this should be balanced to this. That's not necessarily true. Like, it can be, well, this just beats this if you've got enough power to support it on your ship.
It's going to be complicated, but the thing that's nice about the persistent universe is that it's supposed to be a simulator. So if you had two sabers against one saber, and all pilots and everything were the same, you would expect the two to win. And it's the same thing as long as those ships are balanced in combat. I know what you're going to say. Calm down.
No, okay, yeah.
If you balance the sphere, if you balance AC, that all the ships are favorable to their strength, then that's not realistic because a tank isn't a Prius. Right? A tank should be stronger than a Prius, and that's how I would really like to see things balanced. You shouldn't expect a Vanguard to be, let's say, hindered compared to a Super Hornet because it's supposed to outperform it. Anyways, I do think that we all agree that the balance is going to be growing pains. It's going to be back and forth, iterative, but I personally think that you can strike a balance, that this can work. We have a lot of ships, we have a lot of guns. And it's just going to be shitty because there's going to be some times where you're like, this ship is a god gun, and that's where I'm hoping the Delta Patcher will let QC make, like, the community steps up and everyone knows that the Cutlass is overpowered, and then they're like, but what are we going to do about it? And the general consensus is that let's say it has too many hard points or has too much shield or not enough this or whatever, and then that is added, changed, and then tested on the fly. That's what I'm hoping from the Delta Patcher. That's the type of iterative change that we need.
If they don't do that, then it will upset everyone because they'll be like,
that's the point.
Spent ages getting that Delta Patcher. That's what you should be using it for.
Right. And I'm not thinking they're not going to do that. I'm just saying that's totally why I'm really looking forward to it.
We know that CIG do stuff wrong and they do stuff slightly sillily sometimes. They're effectively a junior company when it comes to releasing a game because they haven't released a game yet. So they're gonna do stupid stuff. They're gonna do stuff that we will have to pick them up on, and that we can be angry about or congratulate them about, or whatever.
Yeah.
And Matt Sherman says that balance is a constant pendulum in motion, which is great, and that it's all about having smart people that are adaptive to that balance. And obviously, PU balance is odd because it's not a competitive game. It's a sandbox game where an Idris's mega gun can't be balanced towards a Hornet, other than that balance being it kills it if it hits it.
Right, instantly.
Whatever.
The point of what I was saying is, I think my thoughts for 3.0 is that if it's polished and all that other stuff, and we have the amount of gameplay that we're expecting, not the hype gameplay and all the stuff that everyone's fantasizing about, but the actual stuff that we know about, I actually consider I'm actually letting my friends know polish off your SSDs and, get ready, because I actually think that they're going to want to play Star Citizen and truly enjoy it and see for the first time what it's all about. So, and then there's silence.
There you go. Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to figure something out for this next thing.
Okay.
So, is there any, like, I don't know if there's anything else to talk about, or should we just go right into questions? I feel like we ran out of things already. Or
perfectly fine. Like we said, we started this today knowing full well that we're basically entertaining questions and striking up conversation where the community wants it. So,
what else did they add? They added additional points of interest on planets and more missions to 3.0, but that's because they've had more time and they've just got them more integrated. The moons felt unpopulated, so they've added new outposts on more moons. They've improved the lighting and fog tech. They've made the turret experience better, which is good, because no one would have wanted a multi-crew ship in a turret if they didn't make that better. And that needs to be competitive. That's really important, actually. Like,
the
turret
gameplay is super important.
Yeah.
What's up? The multiplayer, the multi-crew ships are useless without.
And the issue with it is that that's one of the things that they can't polish later. They need to get a good experience for that now, because they need to show, look, multi-crew is viable in 3.0 or 3.1 or whatever, but they need to have that as a viable option, because otherwise people play and go like, well, it's got multi-crew, but I'm just standing about, or I haven't hit anything.
It's a super Hornet.
Yeah, well, that would be great, actually, going, I'm in a Super Hornet with my mate, and that makes it much more competitive, rather than I'm actually taking away from the amount of damage that he does. But,
Yeah, so, I mean, that's really it. There is a lot of stuff on the go from all of our channels. Like, I'm getting ready for the future of Gamescom and the release of Evocati, whenever that happens. No salt. Whenever it happens.
Once I know Evocati's in motion, I'll probably start getting back into Star Citizen. We'll start playing it again.
Yeah.
Because then there's there's a light at the end of that tunnel.
We want to do the 24-hour live stream, don't we? We want to do a 24-hour live stream when it goes to PTU.
On PTU,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I'm looking forward to as well, because there'll be lots of people playing the game together and actually being like, tangible gameplay, exploring shit. I don't care if we're just running on a planet's surface. Just going, I'm going to explore this planet first. Whee! That's enough for me. That's enough. Give content, please.
Okay, so this is how we're going to do this. Instead of what we would normally do, we would have the people go and put in the question, and then my moderators would go and filter the questions and do all of that stuff. Instead of doing that and taking questions throughout the whole thing, because this is more Q&A than anything else with this podcast. This podcast, I mean, can go onto its normal time, may end shorter, depending on the questions that you guys ask. But yeah, so what we're going to do is I'm going to have you guys just type question in brackets before. And for those of you watching on YouTube, I know a lot of you have been asking about being able to show the questions on screen. So when we're doing this, I have the questions down below. Hopefully you're going to be able to read that.
Nice. I've recruited a turret gunner already. Woo!
Yeah. So if you have a question, put question in brackets. Board Gamer from Magnetron GW2. Will you be streaming on Gamescom?
Yes, I think a lot of streamers will be streaming around Gamescom. I'll be doing a pre-show thing. I'll talk to Saurus and other people to see what they're doing as well, and we'll probably do something a little bit together at some point, maybe.
I think the question meant, will you be streaming from Gamescom?
Well, I wouldn't be able to tell you if I was, but I'm not. So,
yeah, there you go.
That's hilarious.
I'll be doing a party at the time, so
yeah, and I will be streaming Gamescom the event as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it for questions? I guess
that's all we needed, really.
Yeah, that's all we needed. That's all anybody needs to know.
Podcast. Woo!
We talk about all the stuff we're going to be doing next week. I'm just kidding.
Gamescom.
That fast.
Yeah. So if nobody has any questions, then I guess we won't even do a Q&A. And I'll shut it down.
Oh my god. It's going to be okay. Oh no. Yeah, there's some questions.
Badger, is it possible to land session Star Citizen? No.
No.
Thale, what do you plan on doing with your orgs coming 3.0? Nothing. There's no new org stuff coming in that I'm aware of.
So I'm going to activate mine and start actually playing with some other orgs. Like 3.0 represents tangible gameplay.
There's no new org tools though.
No, but so you can actually play with them.
I mean, you could play with them this entire time, but nobody. I mean, no
real reason to work together in the same state. Like there was only like 2 hours of gameplay that you could do with your org, though, even if you took over a server.
Yeah.
Whereas now, the tangible gameplay to do with your orgs. No org tools.
Squadron Battle, Battle Royale were only like 2 things you could do with your org. You could go into you couldn't really do much in Persistent Universe that was really exciting or engaging. You could go into some co-op, Vandal Swarm, or some Pirate Swarm, and kind of ring it out and see, do some training. But that's really all you could do with your org. So what the majority of my org did is they got bored of 2.6.3, and then they started playing PUBG and all kinds of other stuff, which is good, and that's healthy. I would rather people be playing at least together in some game other than Star Citizen. But so the question really does relate, like Board Gamer's saying, activate the org, right?
Activate.
No, seriously, work on it and see what type of gameplay you can get out of the new PU.
Oh my god, gameplay.
Live Acoustic says, how will CIG redeem themselves at Gamescom?
Wait and see. Like, what does that even mean?
Noob has a totally different view of this to me. He's literally, well, not a totally different view. He was saying that we shouldn't hype it at all. Yeah, no hype.
I don't care. Because just enjoy the show. Just watch the show.
Whereas I'm very much sort of like, I like hyping and I like seeing the expectations and talking about expectations, as long as you're mature enough to go, well, it's not disappointing if you don't meet them. Like that's an important thing. Don't be like, oh, well, this was promised, or this was stated, or I thought this was happening. Like, with the vertical slice last year, that was something to get a bit salty about, because it was kind of promised and then didn't happen. Although we know that stuff does happen now. So just bear that in mind. But CIG need to deliver at this Gamescom. It's been hyped on people's Facebooks and Twitters that CIG devs saying that this is the biggest like drop of something big's going to be announced and some cool stuff, and it's going to be the best show that we've had.
And it was last year. Last year was good. Last year blew my mind. Even
Gamescom,
though it was hyped.
Gamescom did.
Gamescom.
Yeah,
but
Gamescom was amazing.
SitCon, we discussed this a little bit. If they didn't say that SitCon was going to be bigger than Gamescom, what we saw at SitCon was actually a really solid demo. And I remember sitting there watching, going, my God, this is like gorgeous. Obviously, it was on a giant screen in front of me and the atmosphere and everything. But I didn't leave that theater pissed off. And when I started to read social media, because I was there, it didn't matter. But if I wasn't there, I think
at CitizenCon 2015, it was in the UK. I went there and it was really hyped. I was really, really fucking, oh my fucking God, it's going to be amazing. And it was fucking amazing. And that sense of being hyped and also meeting expectations was great. Like, there's no better feeling than being hyped and going, this is really cool. It's just, we've been burnt a little bit.
We discussed this, the difference between excited and hyped. Being excited is anticipation but making no expectations. Hype is setting to me.
I have expectations.
False expectations, or expectations that couldn't be not met, and then you're disappointed. So I'm going into it with a clear head. That's actually the topic of the video that I'm working on right now. It's not necessarily telling people what to do. I never presume to tell people what to do. I'm basically giving people an alternate perspective, and yes, it happens to be mine, which is pretty self-serving, but that's why you guys subscribe, right? So the point is, I'm never going to let that happen again. To me, personally, I'm never going to get crazy overhyped about anything, right? It's what I'm basing the whole channel off of. I would like to think it's why people subscribe to the channel. They get a different perspective, and not saying that anything that anyone else makes is bad. It's just it's not what I make.
So, Saurus, for you, is it just CIG communicating properly with people? That's
the only thing that bothers me. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I know.
Our next question is from Jack Assery. Did CIG confirm whether or not Constellation Merlin docking will be in 3.0?
Yes, they did. I believe they did. They said that the Parasite undocking would be in. I'm assuming that means docking as well.
Nice.
Specifically for the Connie.
Nice. So it'll have a purpose.
LTG Solo says, now that we have persistence, will any of you spawn all your regular ships at once and store them on a moon or another secret location so you don't have to use standard spawn locations?
We'll have to see how the mechanics work. If ships still yes, persistence and everything, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to stay there when you log off the server and come back.
So there's no combat logging, so you can't log off when you're in combat, but when you're free out in the open or on a planet or whatever, you can log out and you and your assets will log out with you. Or
right, because if I'm in a server of 24 players, there's no guarantee that I'm going to come back into the exact server that I was in where my ship is.
And you probably won't.
Right.
But you will spawn in with your ship in the new server.
Right. So true persistence, like what he's talking about, won't exist until we get that common mono server.
That won't exist until we have server meshing. Yeah, totally correct. Totally correct.
Server meshing. I like your words much better.
Brevolt says, you think that turret combat will be better in 3.0?
Yes.
If I skip the question, ask them again. I can't just hang on to every single question. If I missed your question, you gotta ask it again. That's how this works.
He's not made of question receptacles. Just ask him again.
That's how it's working.
This is actually a lot of fun.
So let me ask that again. Do you think turret combat will be better in 3.0?
Yeah.
I mean, it can't get worse.
But it's one of the things that I believe was a blocker.
Knock on wood. After 3.0 comes out, do you think we'll see a landslide of content thereafter as the pillars of this game will be built?
I think that 3.0 is the turning point. And I jokingly just said something about overhyping stuff. And now I'm basically, it sounds like I'm hyping stuff. But if you're going to look at the project from start to finish, 3.0 for me introduces, obviously the biggest, it's common knowledge. Some of the biggest fundamental changes, basically rewrites the entire game. And then what you look at what they were trying to do for 3.1, 3.2, 3.3 are all major game mechanics like mining and salvage and, all of this. We're getting cargo now in a little bit of cargo, right? That's going to be fleshed out. And I really do think that once all the tooling is done, and the tooling is needed to be done for 3.0, that tooling is common to Squadron 42, how the assets are made and broken and all the damage states and the level of detail and the economy, all of that is the reason it's taking so long is that all of that needs to be done at once, or else you're just going to be making a little piece that you have to rewrite and a little piece that you have to rewrite just for the sake of gameplay.
Which they've kind of done that in the past.
They've done it in the past, which is why we have 5 versions of the Connie, right?
Yeah.
Like that's, and it makes me so happy. I would rather wait, and I know that this is not a unique perspective. I would rather wait and have it done once properly. The only problem with saying that is that everything has to be done at once. The way this game is built, everything is codependent, and one game mechanic and one graphic engine and one this and one that, all of it comes together at once, which is why we've basically been waiting since December.
Most games are codependent.
It's normal. We're seeing it, and that's the difference, is that we can see it, and that's why it feels so bad. Normally you wouldn't see it and you wouldn't care. You'd just be oblivious and you'd see the game in beta.
To go back to the question though, landslides are relative in my vision. So someone kicking a stone at the moment after 3.0 was released would be a landslide compared to what we've had over the last 8 months. So, I mean, we're going to see content a lot quicker after 3.0. The basic bare bones of the game's there, the skeleton's there, the delta patches there, and they can, assuming that CIG aren't going to be dicks about it, can release content relatively regularly. I don't know if there's particular marketing tactics they're following or anything, but the assumption is that they can release content very quickly after that, significantly quicker than we've seen before.
Next question is from Mr. Top Hat. Will News Reporter be a viable role in Star Citizen?
Yes. Once that ship comes out.
I mean, partially. I wouldn't be putting all of my eggs into that basket.
Okay, so the proposed gameplay, and that's the proposed game mechanics
from concept,
came out, was similar to everything you could expect from a reporter, in that you'd have personal gear that would be your camera, your reporting, all of that, but that you could broadcast it similar to what you would do with OBS and Twitch, and then people could tune in wherever they are. So you could, according to the game mechanics, the way it was intended, or the way it was proposed, is you could end up, just like on Twitch, with followers and regular people that would wait for you to go live. They could be flying their Connie or whatever and say, you know, Soros has gone live and he's reporting, boom, and then they would tune in. Now, how would that make money, et cetera, et cetera? Would people tune in because you're a combat reporter or because you're reporting on Murray Cup? All of this stuff, like all that is why the game is so appealing, because once you're given the mechanic, what you do with it is your gameplay. So
I mean, that would be amazing to have. Like, we've seen render to texture. That means they are able to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's a dream mechanic. That Soros is quite correct saying, like it's great if it's a fully fleshed out great mechanic where we can stream onto Twitch and you can make money from running a news station. But how's that actually going to work?
Don't hold your
breath. How is that viable for them to do? I mean,
exactly.
It's such
Don't hold your breath.
such a niche thing.
What I said is when it was launched, when the Reliant was launched, that's what the proposed or target vision was. That's the nice way of saying it.
And the vision for that is great and awesome, and they have the tech behind it. It's just, is it at such a niche that they're going to put it on the back burner, or come after release, or it'll be vastly cut down from what is possible? I say what we expect, because I don't know what to expect from that mechanic yet.
Correct.
The Nova says, if the schedule says bug fixing in progress, what percentage would you say is that feature complete? 90? What percentage do you think is feature complete if the schedule's... I don't understand the question, Nova. Maybe reword it.
The schedule says bug fixing in progress.
It doesn't make any sense.
Features are complete, they're just not fixed.
Right. So BSNT, do we know some of the ships that'll fit through different jump point sizes?
Well, we don't have jump points until 4.0. When is jump points supposed to happen?
Yeah, not till much later.
Right.
So we'll know more at Gamescom, I suspect.
We know sort of what they wanted to do with them, but everything's changed. So yeah.
We don't know what they consider a small, medium, and large ship. We don't know if jump points might be to do with very specific sizes, like a medium ship might be a Cutlass, but might not be a Freelancer because it's slightly too small or something like that. So we don't know yet.
Stipe says, do you think we will see more asymmetric ships that can connect to each other to make a bigger ship, a la Voltron?
Unlikely.
No.
But they've got rid of docking collars. Originally, they wanted the caterpillars to connect up, and like have multiple ship connections. But they moved away
would have
from
been
that.
Stationary too. The point was you couldn't dock while it was moving, so technically you couldn't do interdiction while it was moving. You'd have to, shoot it, disable it, and then dock with it and all that other stuff. But all of that mechanic was removed to the point where even the Cutlass docking collar was taken off of the new model. Not saying it's gone for good, but it's just gone for now.
Mm-hmm. This comes from Dad Dude Nico. Are you prepared for 3.0 not coming out until the end of the year? Some of the enthusiasm has been sucked from me, and I'm actually prepared for a January 2018 stable release, so long as it's not buggy like all the previous builds. It'll always be buggy. It's an alpha. Expecting a non-buggy alpha build is ridiculous.
Yeah, indeed. Yep. Indeed. There's always going to be hardware problems. There's always going to be crashes. There's always going to be something that goes wrong.
So I guess the question is...
Manage your expectations.
Yeah, we were expecting 3.0 to release with Gamescom, and now it's looking more like SitCon. And then the obvious question, or the question insinuates, what happens if it gets pushed even further? Is that going to be devastating? No, because I still think that the Gamescom demo, what we're going to see, and what we're going to see at SitCon, although it would be nice for that to come out with 3.0, I don't feel that it's dependent on the release of 3.0. It would be nice because then the hype generated by the show would equate to potentially more sales and more people playing. But if it's crap, if it's a crappy release, then we don't want that, right?
You've got to remember, though, that CIG do need to make some form of expectations with 3. Now, even if it's because of the mainstream that people think that it's supposed to be released now, there's still an expectation they kind of have to kind of meet. They don't want the mainstream media and the mainstream user that doesn't follow the project to think they can never make a date. What's the point when they haven't even made this date? It's 8 months late or whatever.
It's poison. So, you're right. It's total poison. And that was the point of the schedule report. That was the point of setting a date, getting people aware of kind of the liquid nature of game development. And I think that as long as nobody takes it for concrete, the schedule report is still really, really good. I just don't like the idea of changing the day of the schedule report, the day before it's supposed to come out, saying, "Oh no, it's 2 weeks from now."
But a lot of people don't know when 3.0 was supposed to be released. They don't know its target windows, and I'm talking about a load of mainstream viewers. They would literally just read articles, or they'll see a post about Star Citizen being delayed, and that's all they know about it, and that's all they think about it. They don't know anything of the backstory. They don't know if it is delayed or whatever. They'll read that and they go, "Oh, it's delayed again."
Yeah.
So there's stuff that CIG need to do damage control wise, or at least they do need to get 3.0 out as quick as they can. They have to focus on quality still. They're in a tight position, quite genuinely. But I trust them. It's just it's hard.
Hamstar Rising says, "Do you think we will see Squadron 42 this year?" No.
You might see the slice this year.
That's not. Do you think we'll see Squadron 42 this year?
I've been burnt in the past, brother.
You mean released? You're specifically saying
I'm assuming that's what the question is.
I would probably, if I was at a betting shop, bet against it being released this year at the moment.
Holy. All right. Green Fox, which other games are you currently playing to keep you guys sane? Recently, I beat Hellblade.
PUBG.
I also beat Observer yesterday. Both of which were really good. I've been playing a lot of Pleb G. I'm really bad at it. But it gives me something to do and sort of tides me over while I'm hoping for actual good games to come out. The industry's, to me, the game industry has sort of been kind of blah.
And it has for the last 18 months.
Yeah, it's been like really bad. It's like games aren't fun. Games are supposed to be fun, and like, or they're just ugh. I'm a little disappointed with sort of the releases. I literally
bought One Man's Lie today.
You got annoyed at me as well. You said, based on your recommendation, although I didn't recommend it.
I too am subscribed to Board Gamer, and I was watching his most recent video, and I'm like, oh yeah, One Man's Lie. And he said it was a lot better. Now, better than what?
Better than itself.
It's $20. Yeah, better than it was, right? So
yeah.
For $20, I think I spent $20 on coffee in 3 days, so I think I can handle a little bit of disappointment.
So I'm really looking forward to Destiny 2, because I will play that, and if it's got a good enough hook, I'll play it for a long time. I'm also really looking forward to playing Anthem, although I think that one of the major...
I don't know.
What's that about?
I'll show you afterwards.
It's cool. Like a mix in between what looks like The Division and Destiny.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, it's very similar, with a little bit of mechage and a very, very open world. So it's like Wildlands.
Its trailer has that really bad heads on a swivel, T formation.
The fake battle language is amazing. So I love it. Oh my god! One day I hope that someone will employ me to do fake battle language.
Yeah. What do you think the surprise that Matt Intrieri alluded to?
So.
And that was through his tweet, right?
Yeah. So yeah, he basically said he hyped this whole thing up. I think I've got the tweet somewhere on my computer, probably on my desktop, won't it? There it is. Yeah. So he said, only 3 weeks until the next Gamescom. Our biggest reveal yet. Can't wait to get version 3.0 into players' hands. Big surprises to come. That's what he actually said. And he is is he still this? He is the Principal Ship Technical Artist. That is his current title.
Capital Ships, maybe?
I'm hoping Capital Ship Battles.
I mean, that would...
But,
Like they tease at every Gamescom and CitizenCon,
It's so
right? With
frustrating.
like, oh, here, look at the side of this ship. It's in the shadows. Neat. So it would be cool to see them. We know that they're done. So it'd be nice to have them run around them and shit.
Well, they can do a lot now in an enclosed environment. They don't need that network code if they're running it at LAN, as much. Like they can run it in an enclosed environment with just 8 people. And they can have NPCs that exist that are all scripted. And there's lots of stuff they can do to show stuff off now and go, this is cool, look at this, if they want to. So I would hope for capital ship battles, even if it's in that enclosed environment. Obviously, I want it not to be faked, but you know.
Drake Enterprises says female model in 3.0, yes or no?
I think so.
Yeah, I believe so.
I was expecting it.
That was a no-brainer. That was confirmed.
It would be in the schedule report as we're having problems with the female model if they weren't going to put it in. So,
question from Nico: if you could pick one capital ship to be in the PU, totally working, no bug whatsoever, what would it be? The Idris?
Yeah, I mean
that's
that one's
sort of
probably got the most
that's
gameplay.
the standard, right?
yeah, Idris.
I mean, it's probably going to be the first one in. If it doesn't come in with
the Polaris, though. Because to me, the Polaris is more manageable. If your server can only withstand 24
well, that's why I'm
players,
saying if you could have one that comes in totally working, no bugs whatsoever, and it just would be better because it's the standard.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's the case, then I want the Javelin just because it means more people will be on the server. Look at me metagame the question. No, it's the Idris. It's definitely the Idris. I mean,
Stuart, during the Gamescom presentation, do you prefer to see pure gameplay of 3.0 or Squadron 42 or concept future gameplay scripted like the Sandworm demo, or both?
Both.
Yeah, I'd like to see both.
Wasn't
I'd
last
like to
year
see,
game? Sorry, go ahead.
I'd like to see them obviously show what kind of things they can do now that necessarily may not even be coming in 3.0 that they can play that aren't in this build, because this build has been going on for so long. And then on top of that, I would also like to see if they have any initial work on procedural cities or different biomes and things like that. I want to see that. So both.
So the thing I liked the most about last year's show was the 24 hours of streaming where everyone kind of daisy chained and just talked about Star Citizen from start to finish. So anyone who was unfamiliar with it could literally get in there and just see the game work. And then, of course, the big ticket item, which was your full planetary with a mission. That whole demo was just awesome because it showed off all of the key features, like the different. I've lost it. Your damn it. What's it when you go from one ship to another?
Transition, move,
No.
dock.
Damn it.
Progress.
I did an entire video.
Progression.
Physics grid.
Physics grid.
How you could go from a planet and then you look at it had the shut up. It had all of it. It had your dragonfly. It had all kinds of basically everything coming together. What we're going to see in 3.0, we pretty much saw last year at Gamescom. Obviously without the polish and everything. So if they can show me this year, 1 year from now, if they can show us a jump point or something like that, that would just tickle me.
And then just in little brackets when they show it, this has been delayed.
Yeah, soon.
They know the future.
Jump points would be awesome. That's what that would be top score.
Commander W says, do you think we will see Carrier taking off or landing at Gamescom? I mean, they have it done. They said they have it done.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, probably.
It's in the background. Look at the shadows.
Here's a question. Goons, yes or no? Yes.
What?
Yes, there are goons in the chat. That's it. Okay. Mr. Top Hat, do you think that you could get more profit from having biodomes on your ship than mining asteroids?
Depends on what you're trying to grow.
Well, I mean, there's no way to tell right now.
Well, if I'm trying to grow asteroids.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be balance for that sort of career path. So There'll be different things that you're supposed to do. There'll be different suns and seeds and areas you need to go to get your plants and stuff. Or if you're more asteroid mining, you're going to need to find the asteroids. They're more likely to fight pirates when you're asteroid mining. So possibly crop stuff might be safer, maybe. We'll have to wait and see.
Next question from Nico. When do you think a Vanduul Alien Horde mode would be added? And when do you think it'll be viable for 3.0? There's Vandal Swarm right now.
Yeah, do you mean like progressive waves in
Like,
enemy that get harder and harder?
Maybe he's talking about like an FPS mode.
I think they'll want to do that as soon as they can. It's just when they can get ground-based AI working fully.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. And once they've got subsumption fully implemented, that'll probably be done quite quick. I don't know how far they're along with that. They might be almost done. That might be 6 months away. Don't know.
Yeah. Any real questions?
Because I'm not seeing too many real questions.
Me neither.
It's all good. This was actually a longer show than I was expecting from today.
Okay.
Some good questions.
B-Wagon says, currently there's not a whole lot going on with multi-crew stuff. What level of priority do you think the multi-crew overhaul needs to be?
Well, there's lots of stuff that they need for multi-crew. They need missions to be shareable, so that everyone's sharing or at least you can trade currency between players. They need all the consoles to be working, so there's actually a reason for you to use another console, and for that to be competitive. So it's like the best option here is to have multiple people manning consoles, and then they need the turrets working fully. And I'm not talking about better. I'm talking about that needs to be the best option for someone to man your turret.
So what about, like in the Caterpillar, all of the components are in the ceiling, you can pull them down. I'm assuming that's all part of multi-crew as well. If you lose your shield generator in the middle, someone has to run over, pick up one and jam it in there. And because we have cargo, we have commodities, all of that could be part of the game. And of course, that really gets into your Serenity, into your Firefly, into your whatever you want, like your Aluminum Falcon, right? When you're flying around with your buddies and you have to focus on that gameplay. That's I think why 90% of us are in this game. We want to be Han Solo.
Brevolts says, has anyone played the latest update of No Man's Sky?
Yes.
I have not.
It was enjoyable.
Surprisingly
good.
Green Fox says, do you guys feel being burned? Do you guys feel burned being primarily Star Citizen content makers regarding these delays? No, not because of the delays.
Voluntary. I choose to do this. How could I get burned?
However, the droughts where we're expecting things are annoying to us. If we've got planned content, if we go in 6 months' time, I'll be playing 3.0. If it's 8 months later and you're still not here, that's annoying. You can plan around stuff. As a content creator, I like genuinely to have a year plan where I've got a very rough, I'm going to be expanding into that. I'm going to be learning that. I'm planning to do that. I'm planning to do this type of content on my channel. And when I don't get those targets myself, that annoys me. Not so much annoyance at CIG, but as I should be progressing in my channel content. So
it's also different for you because it's your job, right? This is
true.
This is directly impacting your way of life. So,
but I get to cover the news though. I want my channel to progress and grow in a way that is manageable in my head. I don't want it to go massive at any 1 second. That would be terrible because I'd be like, I don't know my craft well enough. But I do want it to grow progressively and my audience to grow and to tell me what the fuck I should be doing because I don't fucking know. Quite honestly. Thanks, guys.
Do you think it would be nice to have a new mode instead of capture the Idris, capture the Polaris? The ship is not kept in secret, yet it might be big enough to start experimenting with networking and big ships. I think they'll just go to capture the Idris.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's a secret thing. I think it's a network thing.
Capture the Starfire.
Well, I can't.
People are playing that already.
Yeah.
Magnetron says the quality of the foliage is not really good. Do you guys think that will improve over time? Or that not possible due to lag? No, I think that's something that'll improve over time.
Yeah, because the foliage is done on your computer from your render engine. It's not something that is pushed.
I think we'll see something much better at Gamescom than we've seen so far. Almost certainly. Like, the footage they've shown us is probably nothing to what they've got already. Like, they showed us some weird alien footage. You're like, I know that they've got better concept art than that sort of stuff. So
it's easier to think of it this way, that your perspective is drawn by your computer, and your computer is always trying to get rid of all the things you can't see and dump them. So if you're looking this way through a doorway, you'll see the door frame and then whatever's directly behind it. And if someone runs in front of it, they'll appear and disappear. That's how the economy of your system resources is being handled. So if that bush looks like crap because you're running on a laptop and you're running on low res, I could look at the same bush and it could be ultra high def just because I have my settings higher. So again, I understand the question. There's a limit. Is if the bush is crap to start out with, then we'll all see crappy bushes. But there's no reason why in the next however many years it takes to launch the game that the bushes aren't going to get updated if they're shit bushes.
I have a question for Board. Even though you probably can't answer it, we can answer it anyways. During your CIG visit, did you see Gold Horizon at all? Do you think it'll be arriving soon? Gold Horizon has been scrapped, I believe.
Yeah, I think the assets from Gold Horizon are going into the modular stations. I think that's literally what they're doing with it. And I think that you might still see Gold Horizon in lore. You might see Gold Horizon as a station in the future. But I think the original, as Sora said, was scrap. But I say when we say scrapped in Star Citizen, we mean broken down into component parts and reused elsewhere.
Next question. Do you think that battering rams could be a thing that you could get for ships? An upgrade for ships?
Sides, kind of, a battering rams?
They kind of have that, right? It would be like, I wanted something like the Arcadia out of, what was that anime movie? Captain Harlock?
Yeah, Captain Harlock.
Yeah, the
pirate.
giant
Really
skull on
really
the front that just rammed into shit. That would be cool.
Yeah, I'd like the idea of rams, to be honest. For larger ships, not for tiny ships.
Can I create a company in Star Citizen? Not at the moment. I don't know if you're going to be able to a full company. I don't know. I don't think so.
It's a little role play though, if you think about it. Like, if
it's
you
more of
want
a
to
role
start
play thing, if that's what you're into.
You can start a business. You can go, this is my job, and you could do that on a website. You could go, I will do bounty hunting, and take it on the website. So yeah, you can do that stuff. It's just some of it's not fully fleshed out. We don't know how it's all going to work. Some of it's going to have to be based on you filling in the gaps.
What ESRB rating would you expect or would like for Squadron 42?
It would probably come down to the language and how much blood and guts you can actually see on screen, wouldn't it?
So if you kill humans in a game,
it's teen at least, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be.
They will be going for as low as possible. CIG, Star Citizen people, we want it to go as low as possible.
I don't think they're going to go out of their way one way or another.
Slave trading, like we're talking about
drugs, things like that.
Some game mechanics that are up there. So it's definitely not G.
No, it'll be teen to mature. I mean, those are your two options.
Yeah.
And what the Peggy ratings are, I have no idea. Peggy 16, I think. Peggy 16.
We hear that a lot.
Really well. Yeah.
Whatever happens with Orgs 2.0?
Past tense? Nothing.
It's going to be in the new Spectrum stuff.
Yeah, they've talked about it in some of the ATVs previously.
Spectrum's coming out independent of the other releases because it's a platform, so it's actually really good. I'm hoping to see what that comes out as.
Well, at the moment, it's not even Discord, and the next iteration of it will be Discord. So they need to do something special. Otherwise, I'm just going to use Discord. So yeah, I'm hopeful with Spectrum, but I have to wait and see.
Question: shouldn't CIG show off more surprises, eye candy, etc. at Gamescom rather than CitizenCon, since Gamescom reaches a broader audience? I see that. I see what the argument for that is, and you would think that they would do that, but I think that they're trying to push their own thing more, and that's why they do their bigger stuff at CitizenCon.
And Gamescom can also be seen
'Cause
as a pre-show, right?
Well, not only that is they don't have to rival other announcements.
Right.
So it's actually smarter that they do it. I mean, I don't like how close they are to each other. I think that they're way too close to each other. I think that if they move CitizenCon, like I know why they do CitizenCon, it's their anniversary, right? But if they'd actually move that out to, I don't know, say March, April, around there, I think that would be a better, February or March, I think would be a better spot for it.
So, and what you're talking about is also partially could be responsible for this perceived drought thing, because obviously they're not just getting ready for one thing. They have to make two fantastic things within a month of each other, and they have to be different because you don't want to rinse repeat the same thing. So I get it. There's different shops in RSI that they're all working on different things, but I imagine that there's late nights and deadlines that need to be met before some other thing can happen, and it's real. So you're right. Having the two shows so close to each other is great for us, but also horrendous at the same time. We get to see it all at once, right?
When are we expecting the RSI website to get an update?
I'm hoping with the release of 3.0 going live as well.
Yeah.
That's what they've kind
That's
of
sort
implied.
of what they've been insinuating.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to take this time while we don't have any questions right on the screen right now. A lot of you guys are pushing the boundaries with a lot of these questions, and I'm being nice and not banning or timing you guys out. I know I could, and I'm on the edge of doing it. Stop being asshats. If you have a question, I'm happy to answer it. Don't be an asshat about it.
Do me and Noob have to stop being assets as well?
No.
Cool.
Drake says, do you think CIG made a whole new scripted demo again?
Well, they're definitely not going to show us the old one.
I mean, probably for biomes or something.
I mean, they're definitely going to be using... Well, actually, I can't say they definitely will because I don't know. I'm assuming that it will use partly scripted scenes during any of their demos they do, because they're filling in for content. They'll go, well, we don't have the full subsumption yet. Let's script it. Makes sense for them to do that. So I suspect that the future content stuff that we see will have scripted scenes in Gamescom and CitizenCon. Makes sense.
Are there any other streamers or blogs you recommend for those interested in Star Citizen?
Technically, everyone. Technically, all streamers have a different perspective, and there's nothing wrong from
you heard it here
all of them.
First, all the
everyone.
streamers.
You should check out everyone.
Everyone. Why not?
Maybe you'll find someone
out
that you click with.
Well, that's the plan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it literally depends on what type of content you like to absorb. Whether you like snappy informational stuff, whether you like gameplay stuff. There are people for everyone. Like, I love me. No, I don't know. It's really hard to call someone out. Like, one of the things you don't do really as a content creator is specifically say, I love this guy, which I think I actually have done a few times.
No, and like every once in a while you'll see, I think STL Youngblood did a these are 10 up and coming, or these are the 10 that I like the most.
Did.
And at the time I had almost no subscribers, and he plugged my content. It was awesome. It was really, really nice. So I'd like to, that's why I'm saying search for type Star Citizen and go through all of them, because they all, like I said, they all have something to offer. So
true coverage. Will we be able to pull up people via the tractor beam at some point, alien abductee style?
Cow coming up.
Yeah.
Well, no, off a landing pad, just a guy walking around and going.
That'd be beast. It would also be super trolly though. That could be totally abused. Right? Some guys down talking with someone, and you're like, nope. It's like, denied.
Races and stuff, just stopping people on planets with races.
No, I could totally see that being abused. I would abuse it.
Yeah.
Yoink.
We'll see the abuse that can occur once we actually have them in game. I hope we get it in the first iteration, though.
Questions. Let me scroll up here. What do you think or want CIG should or is going? Oh, that question. What do you think is CIG is going to show at Gamescom? Procedural cities, jump points, etc.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. Anything that they've hinted at is fair game.
There's loads of stuff they could show. They'll show off evolved planets. I'd love to see procedural generated cities. It's loads of stuff that they've talked about recently but haven't shown is almost certainly stuff they're going to show at Gamescom. Like, procedural cities. I'd hope to see that there. I don't know how far along they are with it though. So.
Okay. Here you go. Why isn't the marketing team paying attention to the negative feedback they're getting from their players and other sources and making concrete changes appropriately?
They are. They have to. The whole point of having a marketing team is to figure out what works.
I think they take all
work.
feedback into account.
Yeah.
Not just the negative, but yeah. Next question. Do you guys think we're going to get the modules for the Retaliator in 3.0? Unlikely.
No.
No, but I would suspect that in the very near future, they'll be looking at the modularity of ships with those pods for Caterpillars and for Retaliator. Someone said Redeemer. That's going to be a while. Sorry if that's polarizing. But yeah, the modules and stuff. But I think we'll see them relatively soon for a lot of ships.
Can Nubifier grow a beard?
Oh shit, yes. But it's patchy here.
So
and
no.
Here. I'll send you some pictures, sir, of Afghanistan.
Will the Explorer suit have modules other than slots for FPS weapons? I imagine there will be
Otherwise,
gadgets.
What's the point? Yeah. It has to have something.
Okay.
It's got
not
a
a beard
camera
like you
on it.
have, Soros.
No, we've moved on, Noob. You had your chance.
Yeah.
Triggered.
We've done. I saw you get triggered. That was good. But we've seen like a camera and stuff on the concept and on the actual model, I suppose, of the Explorer suit. So hopefully it's got some functionality. Yeah, I'd expect it. What's the point of changing to anything?
What is the latest news on the Banu Merchantman?
That it's the size of a Polaris.
It's bigger, isn't it?
I believe it's bigger.
Yeah, it's going to be fapping huge. Let me just get the date that it's supposed to be. I mean, take this with a pinch of salt. But take this with a pinch of salt.
Gentlemen.
I wish I had one of those things like the sensor beeps that just beep.
Sorry, boys.
Is that why the bearded question came up? Because I'm the only non-bearded member of Redacted? Because STL doesn't have a beard, and I'm pretty sure Elysiana doesn't have a beard. So, I mean, I'm not the only one.
Wait, no, one second. Banu Merchantman, 890 jump. Where's the
I'm going to get a fake beard.
I don't know the Banu Merchantman is. I think it's coming out mid 2018. Is its targeted date, but I'm not entirely sure.
Really. There are some ships that should be out before that.
They're planning
ships in the BMM, right?
They're planning to start working on it on the 10th month, the second day of the 10th month, 2017, and it's planned to be ready by June the 1st, 2018.
I'm gonna grow a beard for
Banu Merchantman
or a citizen in Ottawa.
Okay, it's gonna be okay.
It'll be a shitty beard.
And that date is not a confirmation date. That is a planned, estimated, goal targeted date.
Would
thing.
a ship sale at Gamescom be a bad idea?
No, you make them a load of money.
Never a bad idea.
600i is going to be there almost certainly, and then they're going to do a wider ship sale almost certainly, and it will make them possibly the most money they've ever made.
Godimus says, do we know anything related to exosuits or power armor for both civilian and military use? I'm pretty sure it was one of the stretch goals, but that's all I know.
Titans.
Yeah.
Titan armor.
But we don't really know much about it at the moment.
Yeah, they were supposed to do the next great Star Marine, which they basically said we're not going to do it until 3.0 and Squadron 42 is both out. Sandy specifically said that, and we haven't heard anything since. Well, we haven't had anything about the next Great Star Marine, but they have been working on the Titans in studio, so maybe we'll see them at Gamescom.
Legendberry says Star Citizen seems like an intimidating beast for a newcomer. It looks amazing, but intimidating. Any recommendations on first steps of entry?
Content dump. Pick a YouTuber or streamer, and there's some that will actively show you things. You can sit there and ask them questions, and they would be happy to show you on the fly. And then there's other ones like Board Gamer does. Welcome to Star Citizen, and it's like everything you want to know in 15 minutes from start to finish, and it's a great way to start. And it answers a lot of questions, but makes more because there's things about the game that you didn't know were possible. And I'd
abuse the community as much as you can. Yeah. Not in a bad way. Literally, find a video like mine, but there's lots of other people that do videos that are equally as good or almost as good. Maybe it's not mine. But watch one of them and then go to joining the community with some streamers. Ask them some questions. There's lots you can do community-wise.
Legion Vitric says, on what scale do you expect the player base to grow when 3.0 is actually playable?
I think we'll see a bump.
Compared to right now, it'll be night and day. Compared to, let's say, peak, which is when Arena Commander first came out. I think we'll see the most players this game's seen with 3.0.
And then it's natural it'll taper off again.
People aren't going to continue to play it, but for a while it'll be really busy. Dreamkill says, has there been any updates at all about Squadron 42?
No.
Occasionally they change the year up one on the website.
And then $0 CCUs, that was confirmed as not a thing. So if you see it, that would be surprising.
What's the plan for next week's podcast? And I know there's some other questions too. Are we going to do a podcast on the Friday instead of the Wednesday? That makes sense to me. I'll have to talk to the other guys about that because next Friday is, if that's the Gamescom, then that makes the most sense.
You know me, I'm a sucker for punishment. You let me know.
True Coverage says the Carrick has detachable modules, so they can only be used to access when they are detached and are on planetside, for example. Or can we access and use them while they are attached to the ship?
You can access them from inside the ship. That's the point.
I think he's wondering if you're going to be able to use the modules when they're not attached to a ship.
It's if they're like just floating in space. Oh, you drop a module off? That would be cool.
So you can do that with certain ships.
I imagine they need the power Endeavour or something, which would come from the ship.
So the Endeavour does that by breaking apart from its spine, but it's still got power. So you can use that as a lab, and then the other part to explore or whatever. So some ships will be able to do that. I'm assuming the Caterpillar will be able to do that. It will be able to, assuming that they actually have that still with the asymmetrical docking, they will be able to dock off with the command module, float away, explore or land. But the main core, because it's connected to the engine and the power plant still, will still also work. I think that's the plan anyway.
Riptide says, once 3.0 drops, should we expect bugs aside a more streamlined, faster ship production of older ships still in concept? I mean, I think that they're
ships. You should, in my opinion, ships are not part of the game. It's like a distraction. And I know some people that have had, like, let's say, a Reclaimer for 2 or 3 years. It can be frustrating. But I don't actually want them to ramp up ship production. Because as long as, even once the game goes live, we can have ships for 10 years. It doesn't matter. And we already have, 50? So ships is not the focus that I would like CIG to be working on. I understand that's where they generate revenue, and then believe me, I love me a good ship sale. But no, I would almost rather see more actual gameplay, personally.
Some of these questions, man.
Me dancing, man.
Know, will we be able to fit less modules to the Caterpillar to make it more maneuverable? No.
4 plus a front.
That's what they said. They need all of them.
But you will be able to not put heavy things in the caterpillar to make it more maneuverable, or at least not as badly. You know what I mean? Heavy bad.
Just buggies.
Yeah.
Nothing but buggies.
Nothing but buggies. Gray cats.
Best value?
Is that it for questions?
What about this best value for
I answered
package?
it already in chat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Done.
Fuck it.
All right. Well, that was interesting.
that was the most unique podcast so far.
It was.
They're all unique. They're all
What
unique.
about the
And
one
thanks
that you
to
did solo?
all the new guests that made it special. Don't ever forget you're very special. At least I think so. But
Thank
yeah,
you for
that's
sharing your time with me.
yeah. Thank you. I'm sure you had something better to do, but you were here hanging out with us during the podcast when we're out of content and really don't have anything to talk about. That being said, Board Gamer, where
Should
can we
always
find
watch the
you?
podcast.
Yeah, where can we find you, and what are you up to this week?
Who are we talking about? Is it me or Noob?
You.
Me. Board Gamer UK. Please look at my Star Citizen stuff on the YouTubes and the Twitters and occasionally the Twitch. I don't really stream that much, although I am planning to stream this week. I'm going to be doing some stuff for Dauntless on Friday, which is a Monster Hunter Online type game, co-op. Looks really good. I've been playing it a little bit already, looking at some stuff. It's really cool. I'm playing some Foxhole. I'm probably going to look at some other games as well. On the stream, I want some Star Citizen, but I also want to play random games in the evening as well, because Star Citizen's I do a lot of Star Citizen throughout the day and learning stuff and researching stuff, so streams more everything. But other than that, on my actual channel, I'll be doing a couple of videos on what Star Citizen release features would Star Citizen have if it released today, because it's changed in scope so fucking much. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't update the website, so I'm going to do a video on that. But what about yourself, Noob?
So I'm the Noobifier. You can find me on YouTube only. I mean, I would love a follow on Twitch, but I'm not likely going to be using it anytime soon. As you guys know, my channel is no bullshit, so I've been not necessarily taking a break, but picking and choosing what I want to talk about. I just did a full rundown on the Wooting one. Wooting was gracious enough to send me one, and I got an opportunity to review that pretty much before everyone else, which was mega. So please go check that out. It's an analog keyboard, and it has some really strong implications for Star Citizen. I'm going to be doing a new video on how to set curves for it, but that curves video has universal application, because if you can set a curve for a keyboard, you can set one for a joystick. Mm-hmm. On the subject of joysticks, Virpil, which is a new company that's come out recently, they're similar to VKB, Thrustmaster, high-end controllers, but they're making a left and right-handed version of their flagship stick. So they've approached me and they want me to review those for the community. So watch out for that. Again, really, really strong implications. You'll notice I'm getting away from Star Citizen and more into hardware, but that's only because we're waiting for 3.0. As soon as 3.0 drops, trust me, it's going to be
really good at waiting.
It's going to be really, really good. So what I'm looking for from Virpil is promo codes for the community, so you can save a little bit of money and stuff like that. And then I'm also trying to get Board Gamer and Saurus version of their own Wooting one, so they can play with it and see if it's the shit or not. Because
give me analog.
I like it. I like it a lot. And if spoiler alert, it's a really, really solid keyboard, and it does everything a normal keyboard does.
Oh no, not those features. Spoilers. Those are the worst.
It's good. I like it. It's my daily driver right now, and it's not just because they sent me one for free.
Yeah.
One last thing. I'd like to plug Ottawa Bar Citizen coming up on the 26th, very soon.
Exclamation point Bar Citizen in chat for a list of all the discords.
Just me. I'm just kidding. It's not that. And please stay tuned for a polarizing video from me. And I'm thinking that the subject is going to be why the hype is bullshit, but I'm still ready for CitizenCon or GamesCon. So hope you guys like that one. I had fun writing it. Thank you.
What about you, Saurus, mate?
You can find me here on twitch.tv/WTFosaurus and on Twitter at WTFosaurus. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming by and spending today with us. I appreciate it. And I will see you guys. I'll probably be back streaming later today. I'm going to go hang out with my dog, go for a walk. And then we will probably be moving the podcast to next Friday from the Wednesday. But pay attention to my Twitter, !Twitter on chat, and I'll let you know what's going on with that. All right, guys, thank you so much. Take care. We love you in the face.